Hey, what's up, everyone? Here I am again, Frank Valkyria. Thank you for joining me for another video. This is gonna be a talk because sometimes we do this thing on this channel. And for those of you that are new, Frank Valkyria, musician, artist, sharing my life with you because I love it. I love it. I love YouTube. I'm a YouTube shield. I'm on the side of YouTube. I love YouTube very, very, very much. Soon I'm gonna have a pillow. I love New York. Pillow New York. I'm gonna have a pillow YouTube. I just have to find a way to get it shipped instead of buying it for 200 euro or something like that. Anyway, I want to talk about Avengers Endgame. There is so much excitement for this movie. I'm a great movie lover. I've always been. I spent my teens years and mid-20s watching movies of every kind, so I have this sort of extensive personal knowledge of cinema, which comes from a deep love of telling a story, narrating a story, and pretending to be somebody else or living more lives and observing. So anyway, going back to science fiction, because I'm a great lover of science fiction and fantasy movies as well, I could not talk about this movie because Endgame is a peculiar phase in our history when it comes to cinema, because this is the first time in history. We give it for granted that cinema's been around forever. I mean, it's probably 100 years or so since the first sort of like 14 frames a second pictures were like stuck together to create the illusion of movement or something like that. I don't know exactly the numbers, but more or less, we are there. So it's just the last maybe 50 years or so that cinema has entered our life, our society, and we are such a strange species, and it's so an integral part of our existence, and it's unique. It's happening for the first time in the history of man, and we are at the point right now where we went through the last 30 years of creating blockbusters and how they're made and all the ingredients and so on and so forth. Endgame represents to me the pinnacle of this process. In the last 10 years, we went also from movies which made a couple of hundred million at the box office and were considered incredible achievements. All of a sudden, we were catapulted to movies like crossing 500 million, 600 millions, and up and up and up. The first movie of 1 billion until Avatar, which shattered every record. And from there on, from 2009 on, we sort of had to confront the movies to that kind of level of expectations. A movie, costing $150 million plus, I don't know, distribution, commercials, whatever. And if it was making a couple hundred millions or 300 millions, nowadays seems like a failure. And so, like, for a movie to be considered successful as to cross the barrier of 500-600 million when it's made out of a budget 150 million or so. We have seen the example of Alita, which is an extraordinary movie, one of my favorite of this year, and also one of my favorite of many movies in the last decade. It's really a brilliant movie, and I'm sad that in a way people didn't caught up with it. Probably when it's going to be released on DVD, we're going to see more growth and exposure to the movie. And it just crossed a few weeks ago the 400 million mark, which apparently it's supposed to mean that we might get a second chapter of that story. And it's incredible to think. I don't know how much. I don't think they lost any money. The budget was 170 million. I don't know how much was invested in advertisement and that kind of stuff. I suppose they made some money. Already making back the money, it is already money. I mean, it's good. Everybody got paid. Everybody got a job. So, but anyway, we are used to see movies which have to cross a barrier of the billion to be considered, in the upper echelon. And now we have Endgame. Last year, Infinity War was the first movie, I think, the first movie to cross the 250 million box office in the weekend for, I think, domestic gross in the United States. And so the bar is set higher. I don't know which one is the movie that had the highest gross for the weekend the United States or the worldwide market, but I'm sure that Endgame is gonna top all of that. And the reason being is that Marvel has been so good at creating this anticipation over a period now, from Iron Man 1, which started out like the sort of lucky streak of amazing movies and entertaining movies, which now we give for granted, but also the introduction over so many movies like 20s, 27s, or 20 something movies with all those new characters that we love. I mean, now we are accustomed to Captain America, Tony Stark, we are accustomed to the new Hulk, and all the other, also secondary character like Nick Fury, Black Widow, and Hawkeye, and of course Thor, which is another one of the beloved. And all the other ones, the new Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, all incredible movie, the Guardian of the Galaxies. So they've managed to create such an incredible package of new characters, and they just managed to nail the actors that we all love today. That in a way it's also sad, because there is this sort of rumor, also awareness, that this movie, it's the end of an era. And also because we heard that some of the characters, their contracts are finished, like Chris Hemsworth and Evans. So we assume that they're not gonna make any more Marvel movies, but we don't know. They like to do this thing also to fuel the flames of nostalgic feelings, so that people will go to see the movie even more out of curiosity, whatever. But it is a little bit sad, because we feel like it's an end of an era for those characters that we have grown to love. And it's a little bit like, the same way that we wish, a lot of us still wish we could see Harrison Ford once again playing Indiana Jones, which to me is one of my favorite movie ever. Despite all the movies that have been created, still Indiana Jones is one of my favorite. And so there is a little bit of sadness, because I think Chris Hemsworth is a magnificent Thor, and I would love to see more intricate movies, better movies of Thor. I also like Chris Evans a lot. It would be nice to see more Captain America, and of course Tony Stark. I mean, that was the best move ever, to cast Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. Such an incredible actor, talented, smart, versatile. It's just his whole persona that commands so much charisma just by looking at him, and the way he speaks and everything, that it's hard to imagine that we're not gonna get more of it. But this is how things are. Just because something it's good doesn't mean it's supposed to last. Somebody said, I don't remember, in some movies, I think I'm quoting, but I don't remember exactly which one it was. So there is a little bit of that sadness, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna make history here with this movie. The first time in our society that we have this sort of anticipation for an entertainment movie, and for sure people that are gonna show up, who out of curiosity, who because even if they don't know all the other Marvel movies, they want to see how it ends. So this is gonna draw even more people than all the other movies. And maybe it's a bold statement, but I think this movie easily can cross 350 millions at the box office domestically. And I'm expecting, honestly, I'm expecting numbers like Avatar here. I mean, I don't know if this is gonna be able to cross 2.5 billions or whatever place Avatar is at nowadays, but if there is any movie that can do that, that has the potentiality to do that, definitely Endgame is that. Because I don't think there's gonna be any other movie of this greatness, with this much anticipation and like curiosity from the side of people. Like, we're really waiting to see this thing. And I'm gonna make a review with no spoilers as soon as I watch it, just to share my feelings after watching the movies. And so I'm incredibly excited. This thing is, it's at least, not considering Avatar, it's gonna shatter any other record big time, with the potential of more, because there's not gonna be anything like this. Of course, there is the new Star Wars coming next year, but with the disappointment of The Last Jedi, I don't know. I really hope it's gonna be a good movie, but I don't think it's gonna move in territories of Endgame. So, wow. An end of an era. It's a little bit sad, but also with a lot of excitement. And we'll see what they have in store. Hopefully, this story is gonna blow our minds, and maybe we get to experience some more Marvel movies in the future. So, anyway, little talk, little rant. I'm curious to know what you think about all of this, and if you think that this movie is gonna just shatter every record. I think so, and I can't wait those other couple of days to pass to go watch it multiple times. And please, before we go, hit that bell notification there so you know it's me next time. Subscribe if you wish, and always spread love.